For the past 2 months, I've decided to take a deep dive into the mind of one of the most innovative and influential producers and artists of our time, Kanye West.
Who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was, a god.
Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying Kanye West has redefined the sound of hip-hop over and over again. And with his latest album, Vultures 2, he's managed to take the spotlight yet again. But what exactly makes his production so unique? Stick around as we break down the secrets behind Kanye West's insane production.
I done had too many friends that died.
So Kanye's production style has evolved significantly over the years, but there are a few key elements that have always remained constant. So let's start with the basics. First, he's a master of sampling. From classic soul records to obscure electronic sounds, Kanye has a knack for finding the perfect sample and flipping it into something completely new and unexpected. So what exactly is a Kanye formula? How has this dude managed to stay relevant for so long? Well, let's talk about Vultures 2. This album is a perfect example of Kanye pushing the boundaries of hip-hop production even further. While every album is different, there are a few techniques that he does constantly use. One of the biggest is contrast. Kanye loves to mix the beautiful with the harsh and the familiar with the unfamiliar. So he might take a beautiful choir sample and smash it under an industrial, pounding trap beat.
Now I'm Bill Cosby, bitch. Now I'm Puff Daddy Rich. That's me, to me, rich.
My boy Kavi hooked me up with some choir samples. We'll start this beat off the same way. So the sound on Vultures 2 is almost cinematic in its scope, with each track feeling like a chapter in a larger story. Ye is not afraid to experiment with different textures or layering synths in ways that create a sense of tension. This is heard especially in Field Trip. So let's draw inspiration from that and lay down this really cinematic synth I found from Contact inside of 𝕊𝕌𝔹𝕆 2.0. Then let's continue down that route by stacking it with another synth I found from Analog Lab. So what sets Kanye apart is his fearlessness. He's never been afraid to take risks, to push the envelope, to do something nobody else is doing, even on the stage.
All right, Kanye, give us 3 things that are hairy. Balls, balls, balls.
With that in mind, let's go the extra mile with the effects on the synth. First off, I added a distortion plugin called 𝕊𝕊. I used the Mothership preset right here. I added this preset with a plugin called Shaperbox 3 with the Drive Time Sweeper preset to add this cool sweeping effect. So in Field Trip, you can hear these 2 melodic layers that repeat themselves. This is essentially what is called a call and response. The key here is to find something that can be repeated this much without becoming annoying, because if you can, it's extremely addicting. So I grabbed an arpeggiated synth from the Essence of Trap collection right here by my boy Prod by Jack, and I modified it until it sounded like this. So after adding some reverb and then this gross beat plugin right here, to add a little bit of chop, I came up with this. This is exactly what we needed. Next, to finalize a similarly addicting call and response in Field Trip, I found another accent sample from my Architecture sound kit right here. This is what the original accent sounded like. So what I did was shorten it and put it right in between the bar, and then I pitched it up. So now we've got this. So that's our call and response, and part of what makes it so satisfying in Field Trip is how it lands directly on the snare. We'll go over the snare later. So that sums up the hooks melody here. Kanye West's modern drum sound and patterns are kind of a blend of traditional hip-hop elements with experimental textures and rhythm. Here's a breakdown of what currently characterizes his approach to drums, especially on his latest work, Vultures 2. There's always multiple layers. Kanye often stacks different drum sounds to create a rich, textured rhythm. This might include a combination of acoustic drums, electronic drum machines, and sample percussion, all working together to form a unique sound.
Told my man, hold the truth, that's on slime. I'm a Leo, I got 9 lives. Show you the New Jersey. You don't need to.
So you can replicate this by stacking sounds. I'm going to demonstrate that before we actually go over the patterns themselves. You can see I stack 2 hi-hats, And then that's how I created the snare, just by stacking 3 super unique drum sounds. Kanye also frequently distorts his drums to give them a raw, gritty edge. This can involve running drum hits through vintage gear or using plugins that emulate analog warmth and saturation. Some good ones are Thermal and Guitar Rig 6. So here's an example of the 808 we'll be using, inspired by Field Trip. Here's before our Guitar Rig 6 plugin. And here's after adding the Dirt Injector preset with Guitar Rig 6. His recent work often features sparse drum patterns that leave plenty of space in the mix. The minimalism allows other elements, like vocals and melodies, to shine through. He masterfully uses silence or near silence in his drum patterns to create anticipation and emphasize certain beats, making each hit feel more impactful. Let's turn on the metronome so you can hear this on the 808. Then as a final touch at the very end, I added the snare roll. So all these sounds are from my brand new Dark Essentia drum kit, now available via the link in the description. It's got every hard-hitting sound you need for this new style of music in 2024. And just to catch up on arrangement, for the second half of the hook, the only thing I changed was I pitched the second half of the call and response part, this lead right here that we talked about, I just pitched it down. Really surprised there's a ton of people with Field Trip is this insane switch up right as Kodak Black comes in.
If that my little bitch, she gon' listen to Dirt in the trenches with her been uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's never afraid to incorporate these unconventional sounds as a part of his drum pattern.
So your entire life become this test. I ain't trying to say the right answer. I am just doing.
So I found a ton of super distorted snares like this from the Kerosene drum kit. I also found some open hats, perk sound, and then a super thumpy kick. On top of that, he's also known for experimenting with rhythm, placing drum hits in unexpected places within the measure, which can create a sense of tension and unpredictability in the music. So here's what I came up with in a triplet style. And you do the super tight rolls, make sure to go in here and pull back on the release. If you don't, it sounds like this. When you want it to sound like this. So now the sound ends whenever the note ends. Another bonus note, just like in Field Trip, these sounds are super compressed. You're definitely going to want to put a compressor on and slam it to 100%. This is without it. And this is with it. Everything sounds way more glued together and it's just super energetic. So to complement this drum breakdown here, I copied over these 2 synth sounds, and then this first synth right here, all I did was I pitched it down. And then I deleted every other one to clear the air some. And as you can see right here, I ended up pulling back on the drum pattern and the 2 synths right here. And then I ended up taking one of these leads, offsetting it a little bit, and then boosting it a ton. That leaves us with this. It's a really cool transition back into the second part of the verse, in which I just copied over this section. Ye's synth breakdowns are a hallmark of his production.
20 the new 30, but you still 30. Every time you fuck them, why you feel dirty?
Showcasing his ability to craft an atmospheric and emotionally charged moment within his music. Here's how Kanye typically approaches these synth breakdowns. So as you see, we won't need much here. I'm not gonna go into music theory today, just make some general basic minor chords like that. So let's stack it with another similar sound, both sounds being from Essence of Trap by my boy Prop by Jack. And then all we're gonna do is take this first synth sound right here, copy it over, click on Make Unique, delete this, then go in here, we're gonna grab the bottom notes. These are called the root notes. We're gonna open it back up and then paste them in. These are really low, so we're gonna pitch them up. And then we'll bring the choir back in just to make it extra soulful. To make it super cinematic, let's throw in another bass from my dark Essentia drum kit. We'll do the exact same thing, copying over the root notes like that, except let's add a few slides right here. We move one of those accents over just a little bit and then pull back on the synth chords. Just for fun, let's grab the acapella for Field Trip and drop it on just to see whether or not it's like rappable. It's not even a real word, it's just a way I used to describe if there's like enough room left for the vocals. So this video is sponsored by ESUS, a super cool tool online where you can do lots with audio. First off, they have a vocal remover where you can separate the voice and the instrumental from a file or a YouTube link. They've also got a stem splitter so that you can separate drums, bass, piano. They have noise reducers, so you can reduce noise from noisy audio. And they've got a key and BPM finder and a pitch changer. I'm gonna demonstrate the most useful ones for us here. So first off, we're gonna copy and paste the Field Trip link right here. Press start, it's gonna analyze. It's gonna go to AI processing. And now that we've finished, we've got this.
It's key.
Here's the instrumental. Super clean, and here's the vocal.
This ain't chatter, this key.
It's a lot cleaner than a lot of the other AI removal apps out there. So let's download the vocal. And now that we've got the vocal, we need to know the key and BPM of this. Let's go to the key and BPM finder. And now we're gonna drop the file. The BPM is 122 and the key is F sharp minor. Here I've got our project set to 122 BPM. I'm gonna drag in the vocals and then we're gonna redo this beat in the key of F sharp minor. So this is gonna take me just a second. Wow, that's right.
And I've been that baby not real, it's not him. Send him a letter or kill him. Close that boy, don't we dismiss. I done got 2 hours, just a little. I know my mind, just a little. Red Lambo, red Skittle. 005, we criminal. Say I'm little, medical plans, I'm all in the dental. You like a dog, I'm fresh out the kennel. Niggas say gas, they rolling up fennel.
So yeah, that was completely accurate. Everything sounded great. Let's demonstrate the track separation and extraction tool real quick. Let's use one of my beats called The Storm. So we have the original. Here's the drums. This would be really good for making perk loops. This is without the drum. This is dangerous. Super useful site. I'll definitely be using it a lot in the future. So what do you think? What's your favorite Kanye West production? And what did you think of Vultures 2? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into the world of music production. Thanks for watching. Peace.
I've never used our pool, actually.
What?